Hey guys, my name is Ribbon Phoenix and this is Drawing the Human Figure from Your Mind, lesson 105. So after learning all the things we did about the human skull, where we invented all the muscles and looked at all the features, we can now create freehand the human head without any problems. So here I'm just going to do a 3/4 view here. Just draw it over here. I'm using so here I'll just divide this in half, like so. Do this here. I know this goes round, comes over here, and this here to be the bottom over here. Okay, so in this case, right now we know we don't have to like keep drawing all the features of the skull. So here's just now really understanding how to use that information in putting this stuff together. So here we know that okay, this is okay, so here's like the center, right? Let's actually find the center first, since this is a bigger drawing. So here's about the center, and we know that to find the excuse me, about here. So here's the thing. So now we have this information. We know that the brow area is here, like it's coming down, right? It's going to wedge in. And now when you draw in the eye socket, you know you need to come down over here to get the side of it, right? So here, like you can just mark out where that side is, and then we can just put in the completed eye socket. Now this gives us a good understanding of how the eye is able to keep in the center. So now just remember for the eye, so I'll just put in the eye socket here, right, so you can see it. I'm sorry, the eyeball. So just keep in mind that the eyeball, now that we went through the discovery phase, right, it's exposed here more, and there's meat over here. So it doesn't mean that the eyelid is now going to go on the other side. It just means that around here you're going to be able to still see that eyelid over here, and it's just going to be coming over here, exposed more on this side. And then we can just and remember it has like its own thickness. So over here we can just draw it like this, and remember it has it's going to have its eyelid. And over here we knew that right this under the bottom here it's going to come out more over here. Usually that's what we see on practically everyone's face. And then over here it's going to be that fat area, the fat muscle over here, right? And then over here it's just going to be darkish around there, just like this. So that gives us the eye. So on the other side here it would be the same thing, just knowing where that eyeball is. We know that this thing is going to go down at least over here. Let me erase these lines here. So we know that we're going to be, over here now it's going to be a little different, right? Because it's going round, and you're going to be able to see that eye going like this, and you're going to get that fat area over here too, with that eyelid on top first, right? It's going to go in here. You get the nose area over there. So now the thing to note about this is, okay, so if the fat area is over here, right, we know that if this thing is going here, right, we know that it's going to have this wedge coming out from the side. It's going to be like this. It's going to have that fat area, and over here this thing can just go about its business over here. So we can like clean this part up on this side here and begin to see more of this. right? So here's that fat area, this is where the eyebrows are, and this is where the eye would be. And here's where you would get your cheekbone, and this thing is going to go about its business over there, right? And then this thing is going to be like this on that curve, and you're going to get the cheekbones. So here's we would get the nose, right? And we know how to create the nose now, using that understanding of how big and thick it can be. You know, it depends on how we want to do it over here. So I'm just gonna make this guy's nose over here like so, make it a little pointed down, and you can just put it in like this. And here we knew through this understanding that we know that there's a line over here, and we know that over here where the cheek is, that you sometimes, not always, but you do see sometimes like a mark over here, right? And all these little details help to put the character out. Now you're not going to put all these details on all your characters every time. You're just understanding what's going on. Excuse me. Jesus. So over here is going to be the lips, and we know that we can have different lips. Each character will have different lips, but for ours we're generalizing it so we can just understand these concepts for ourselves. And remember, for the lips, we know that over here it's much more flattish on the bottom, right? And the bottom one is a little bigger, and over here the top lip is a little darker. And you want to think of all this stuff when you're drawing it in much more of a 3D form. And over here we know that those muscles that go around the lips, they're going to give this bump over here, right? Under the lips. And then over here you're going to get that chin, and sometimes you can even get a bump over here depending on those muscles. And so once you start noticing all this stuff on everyone's face, you're also going to start to notice that, okay, I see a line over here that's going on everyone's face, and I'm also seeing something over here that sometimes they have like this little line over here, right? So it depends on how you want to do your design here. And we know that the gland is over here, that muscle is over here. It's going to be like this. Now we can just erase all this stuff over here. Just clean it up a little bit. You can see this, see the features. And on the other side is going to be the other muscles. Of the cheek. Over here, and here is going to be that muscle that's going in that direction. So that's really, well, you have to, understand, how many things you want to show with what you understand about this stuff. You can put as many lines as you want. It'll look more and more realistic, but the more lines you put, the more older the character will get. Just keep that in mind there. So over here, we can now just finish this up. Put in the ear. So over here, we had said that, right? We could probably just do 1 or 2 lines here. We know that there's a slight bump over here, and the ear is going to be here where that eyebrows are, and under the nose, and it's going to come out a little bit like this, right? And we know the design of it now, how it's actually structured. It goes like this, and over here it's going to have a cut coming over here, just like this. And you can play around with understanding the ear more and this thing is like butts out, jumps out over there. And that we can here now draw very realistic faces, and we can make now our own character designs. Understanding what features do we want to really show on our characters. So remember, the eyebrows, they go down, the follicles go down, and you have to understand how you want to do your eyebrows on your character. How big should they be? And remember, here when we said that there's a muscle gap over here. So over here, just remember, it's it's darkish over here, and it comes out over here because it's in. And we know about those muscles here in the middle. We don't have to put everything in. We're just doing this as a this is our toolkit that helps us understand how to how the face is structured, so we can make our characters. And this is that toolkit you can keep improving in doing your research on how much do you need to understand more about drawing the figure. And over here, remember, you can sometimes have those muscles here on the forehead, those wrinkles, and they go on a curve. We don't have to put that in here, but just letting you know. Okay, and this gives us a good design here. For the human head. And now we were able to draw this right from our mind, because that's all the brain was looking for, right? We can conclude on that. But that's what the problem is in figure drawing, is because you have to know what's going on under the skin. That's why learning the skeleton is so crucial, that when we invented. And once you know this information, you can see how this changes our understanding about drawing and thinking. Meaning that we can concluding these theories. Okay, so when you're beginning to draw, like learning to draw, when you're just getting into art and stuff, then you understand that you have to learn the human figure. And then when you learn it more and more and more, you begin to understand that the way your thinking has to change is all this information has to be filtered through, and it has to be fine-tuned down to this understanding that we can draw the human head right from our minds. But we have to understand what's going on, and this allows that fine-tuned understanding to come out on paper. But without that, you're going to be just guessing, and by guessing, you're going to have that level of frustration. Is how do you get your figures to look right? But now this is much more accurate, and you can create your character designs. So now we'll move on to the neck muscles. So here you can see, if I measure from the eye here, from the chin, and if I measure up, it's exactly right. Right? It's divided in half. Hope you join me again for the next lesson. Thanks.